Hello everybody, Zen here bringing you more patch 2.0 content. I'm on my Inquisitor on the PTS. That means only one thing, that we are going to be doing the Assassin and Shadow video, which is really good news because I've been getting a lot of requests for that. However, it's worth noting that this is one of my fresh level 50s, so I may not know the class as much as I do all the others. So unfortunately, if I miss something, which I inevitably will, it's not like I'm trying to miss it on purpose. It's mostly that I'm just incompetent. So with that being said, we're going to be looking at all of the new abilities and talent trees, which is really great. Also, some of the different abilities that were changed or altered in some way. And you can clearly see that my Inquisitor is Diablo. She is officially Diablo with the new gear set, which I don't necessarily mind. And with that also being said, we are going to just hop right in with saying what the new Alacrity changes were. So they changed Alacrity entirety. I say this in all of these videos, just reading directly from the patch notes. It says Alacrity has been redesigned to be a universally more useful stat. Now Alacrity reduces the activation time of all abilities, including instant abilities. If such an ability is reduced below the global cooldown is reduced as well. Alacrity now also increases resource regeneration for all classes by the same amount that it increases ability activation speed. So, just as a whole, Alacrity is just millions of times better, which is really great to hear because it was kind of a useless stat previously. So with that being said, we will now hop into all of the different abilities. And some of you have already seen this, which is okay, I guess. I mean, if you want to spoil the new ability, but some of us like to be surprised. However, I'm actually going to save that part for last. We'll skip over Phase Walk just for now. Let me go over all the other quick things real quick. So in the patch notes it says that all abilities that formerly required a double-bladed lightsaber now may be performed with an electro staff, which is really cool. It gives you more options for weapons. It's kind of like how the warriors, they could use like the swords now, which are really cool, rather than just lightsabers. Gives you more flexibility for your character, which I really like. As far as the tanking tree goes, or assassin tanks, crowd control effects that break on damage. This is for guard. Crowd control effects that break on damage will no longer break from damage redirected through guard. For example, a blinded guarder will no longer be broken out of blind from damage dealt to a guarded target within guard range. So more of a PvP change than anything, and then also a guard change here. Effects that are triggered through dealing damage which affect a target who is guarded will no longer also affect the guarder. That's like, I guess the best example of that is the sorcerer ability where you steal your life and give you force, kind of something like that. Discharge for lightning is no longer having a cooldown. Discharge dark has a 6-second cooldown, and discharge surging has been redesigned. It now is usable with only one or more static charge, which builds with surging charge, triggers discharge for surging, also deals more damage per static charge consumed. Discharge for surging no longer has a cooldown. That's important to know. We'll kind of see that in the talent tree changes as we go along. Overcharged Saber now additionally increases the chance to trigger Saber charges by 35% and now heals players for 15% of the max health when used. And last but not least, Phase Walk. So Phase Walk is the new ability added for the Assassins in Shadows. I quite like it. We're going to throw it down. Ready? Whoops, we're actually going to hit the right button. There we go. Throw it down. And suddenly we have this weird little like thing coming out of the ground. It looks like spirits just lifting from the feet of my character because I crushed them with my look. Don't judge me. Look. Anyways, what it does is I'll show you it and then I'll read it out because it's gonna blow your mind. So say I'm in here and I'm on the computer. Oh, someone's at the door. Oh, suddenly I can activate this and let's go check. It's awesome. It's a teleport. It's just like the Warlock teleport from Warcraft. It has a 1.5 minute cooldown. Let me go to 1.5 minute. 15 seconds? Cooldown. 1.5 seconds. How long is the actual cooldown? 45-second cooldown is what I meant to say. Let's go to... where is it actually at? Should be under Inquisitor. No, should be under Assassin. Yes. If I can find it. There it is. So, just so you guys can actually see it. Activating this ability marks your current location for 120 seconds while this ability is activated, or when this ability is activated again. If you are within 60 meters of the marked location, you instantly return to the marked location. When returning to the marked location, or when the effect ends, Phase Walk goes on cooldown for 45 seconds. Does not break stealth, so you could be stealth while you do this. You could be like, here HK, have the souls of my enemies. So you just plop it down. Then you could be like, I'm just going to, go off over here. And what's 60 meters? We will find out very shortly. In fact, I could probably click on HK because I dropped it right in front of him. That is quite the distance. Holy balls. They need to nerf that. Wow, that's intense how far that is. I mean, you could pretty much carry a Hutt ball and Hutt ball for like half of the field like that. Okay, now we use it, and as you see... boom, instantly over here, and there's some talents that kind of work with it, as you'll see when we go into the talent trees, which is what we're going to do here, trying a new setup with the way that I actually decide how the different talents are different from each other and what got moved. So I'll probably miss something here and there, like I said earlier, not to mention the fact that I know very little about the assassin because I just got it to level 50 recently. Starting in the tank tree and moving left like we always do. This talent's the same, this talent's the same. Not really anything big there. This talent was changed, and the reason it was changed, or the way it was changed rather, is previously Lightning Charge increased critical hit chance by 1, 2, and 3%, and the damage dealt by Lightning Charge by 6, 12, and 18%. It is now... that Lightning Charge increases the critical hit chance of Lightning Charge by 15%, and if we put 3 points into that, 45%, which is great. That is a huge buff. I like that a lot, even though I don't necessarily entirely know what that means. I'm just glazing over that. We're going to move on to the fact that this talent's the same, this talent's the same, and this talent's the same. That's no biggie because this talent has been changed. It is now increases the damage dealt by your lightning or your lightsaber charges by 6%, so 6, 12, and 18%. It was previously only 3, 6, and 9%, so that is good to know. Whole bunch of rearranging going on in this line here, but we'll just start from the left and go right. That is the same. This is the same. This is the same, but it was switched around with Dark Ward. Dark Ward used to be right there. Dark Ward is different. Dark Ward, the previous one, it read that it cost 10 force. This one no longer costs any force, which is great. Surrounds you in a Dark Ward with 8 charges and increases your shield chance by 15% for 20 seconds each time you successfully shield. Dark Ward loses 1 charge, does not break stealth. It is now 15 charges for 15%, or is that the same as before? Yeah, it's the same percentage as before. But instead of 8 charges, you get 15 charges. Really, 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 really good. This is the same, so you don't have to worry about that. This is different. It was that increases your shield absorption by 2 and 4%. In addition, when you activate Overcharge Saber, while Dark Charge is active, you instantly heal for 5 to 10% of your total health. And it is now 12.5. Wait, no, they changed the whole bottom part. So it increases your shield absorption by 2%, which would be 4%. In addition, when you activate Overcharge Saber while Dark Charge is active, damage reduction is increased by 12.5%, and that obviously doubles with 2 points. As far as going up goes with the different things, there used to be a talent here. The talent was previously targets controlled by your spike or electrocute take 3, 6, and 9% more damage from all sources. It's a 3-point talent. It is now Dark Bulwark. I don't think that is in any of the old stuff. Never really spec'd as tank, so yeah, I don't see it there. Which means this is new or moved from something else. So, consumes a charge of Dark Ward, increases shield absorption by 0.5%, stacks up to 8 times, or consuming a charge rather. So whenever Dark Ward consumes a charge, you get 0.5% shield absorption. Stacks up to 8 times. This effect lasts for 20 seconds or until Dark Ward is reactivated. Not too bad, considering Dark Ward only has a 15-second cooldown. Then you have Force Pull, which is the same. You don't really have to worry about that. You have this was over here previously. It was a 1-point talent that was right here, and it previously was just increased threat generated or threat and damage dealt by shock by 15%. It is now, while Dark Charge is active, shock generates 15% more threat and costs 15% less force. It's also very good. I could actually see that being a huge buff for a tank just from reading it, even though I don't have any experience for it. And it's a 2-point talent now as opposed to just being a 1-point talent, which was it before. There was also a talent here. They just moved it up over here. Hand of Darkness. Spike can now be used while out of stealth mode. That is different from what it was before. It was increases the armor by 20% and allows Spike to be used out of stealth mode. So it just doesn't increase your armor anymore, which is kind of weird. I wonder why they did that. Probably one of the many other changes that they added. This is the same, and this is the same. Pretty much in the exact same location they were previously, except now we have 2 new talents up here. Increases all healing received by 1 and 2%. In addition, deploying Phase Walk also deploys Assassin Shelter, increasing the healing done by those within 5 meters of the Phase Walk by 2.5%. Our Assassin tank uses this, and it is quite cool. It makes a huge, like, glowy circle around your Phase Walk, which is kind of a cool spell effect, but it gives a very distinct indication of where the people need to stand in order to get that buff, which isn't too bad. I quite like that. Plus, it's nice on the healers for any type of like stacking and healing if you need to do that, or just planting your Phase Walk in a more strategic location. This is new also. Thrash and Assassinate have a 35% chance to grant Conspirator's Cloak, which makes your next Maul cost 25% less force and usable when face-to-face with your target. This effect cannot occur more than once every 10 seconds. That's great. Wither is different. In fact, Wither cost 30 force before, now only costs 20. And I'm pretty sure all the numbers are the same. Yes, all the numbers appear to be the same, but I could totally be wrong on that. Hopefully I am not. I don't think I am. Moving on to the middle tree, you have this talent and this talent were switched around, which is okay. They appear to both be the exact same thing as before. This is the same. This is the same, except not, right? So this used to be over here in this tree. I remember seeing something like that with the Sage and Sorcerer. So that used to be over here and is now over here, but it appears to be the same. Otherwise, let me just double check that. Yes, it is the same otherwise. However, they just moved it into this tree from right there. They added a new talent there. We'll get to that when we get to that tree. What was here was this. It is now up over here. It appears to be the exact same as well, so that's not a big hit. It's just moving things around. This is different. Increases the damage dealt by Maul by 2%. It used to be reduces the cooldown of discharge by 3 seconds when you put 2 points into it. This is different. It is now increases your effective stealth level by 2 and movement speed by 7.5%. It was a 3-point talent that did the exact same thing, just you had to put 3 points into it to get the full effect that you get with 2 points in this. Pretty cool. The Dark Swell, I think, is different. I'm pretty sure it is different. Yes. It restores 15 force now. It used to restore 10 force. And the percentage is the same. So other than that, it's the same. This talent is the same. This is not. This got a few things changed around, actually. Previously, charge your lightsaber with raw surging force, giving your attacks a 25% chance to deal internal damage. This effect cannot occur more than once every 1.5 seconds. Requires a double-bladed lightsaber. Does not break stealth. This now is charge your lightsaber with raw surging force, giving your chance to deal 25% or attacks to giving your attacks a 25% chance to deal internal damage and build 1 static charge. Static charge Stacks up to 3 times and increases the damage dealt by your next discharge. This effect cannot occur more than once every 4.5 seconds. Requires a double-bladed lightsaber or electro staff. Does not break stealth. So that goes hand in hand with the new discharge change. Just keep that in mind. This is the same. It was previously right here, but obviously they moved this talent down from the bottom. This is the same, so you don't have to worry about that. This is different. It is now a 2-point talent, and it used to be right here, so they moved it up. And they got rid of the talent that was right there before. It used to be, because it was a... I think it's the exact same thing, except now you only... Yeah, it's the exact same thing, except now you only have 2 talents to place into it rather than 3. And this appears to be new. I haven't seen this anywhere else. Reduces the force cost of lacerate by 5 and increases its damage dealt by 15 or 30. And this is the same. In fact, this is the same. This is also the same as what it was before. Some of these are moved around, so it may look different, slightly different. This is the same. There used to be a talent right here that was reduces the force cost of lacerate. Oh, maybe that's the same as that. Aha! Aha! See, that's what they did. See, I knew I would miss something. Previously, that talent that I showed you that I thought was new reduced the force cost of lacerate by 5 and 10. Reduces the cooldown of overcharge saber by 15 and 30 seconds. So that whole last part was changed, which is okay. And they moved the talent from up here-ish. Actually, it used to be right here, funnily enough. Just things are all moved around, and they just moved it down. Still costs 2 points. Aside from that, though, you have these 3 new talents. I think there's 3 of them here. Targets controlled by your spike and electrocute take 3% more damage from all sources. Am I sure that used to be in the tank tree? Aha, that's where this one used to be. So they moved that over there. This is new. Low slash and spike have a 100% chance to automatically trigger your duplicity on a separate 10-second rate timer, which is really good. That actually makes no sense to me, but I'm sure it will when you guys rage out in the comments and explain it to me. Increases all damage dealt to targets below 30% of max health by 3%. Additionally, reduces the force cost of assassinate by 5. That's new. 2-point talent there. I'm pretty sure the slash is... Right, so it used to increase the damage dealt by shock. Instead, it now stacks up to 2 times and builds voltage, right, which gives shock a 50% chance to stack automatically, or to automatically trigger surging charge and bypass. Okay. So, from what I'm gathering with that, that is just a different change because of the whole shock change, and, I mean, that's all goes hand in hand with the discharge. So, that's fine. Moving on over to the other tree. If you don't understand that, just read it for a second, and it'll all pop into your head. You'll be like, ah, I get it now. Moving on to the other tree, these 2 talents, similar to these 2 talents, were switched around, except this one is actually different. Increases the damage dealt by your lightning charge discharge effect by 8%, which would be 16. And previously, it used to be, if I can actually get this to work, let's scroll it down. It used to be increases the damage dealt by lightning discharge effect by 8 and 16%, and reduces the cooldown of discharge by 50 and 100% while lightning charge is active. That no longer has the effect anymore. This is the same. This is a completely new talent from what I can tell. Increases all periodic damage by 3%. Goes up to 9%. This is the same. Death Field is different in the fact that I'm pretty sure it costs more. No, same force. Same cooldown. What did they do to it then? Hey, this is the worst part about trying to read this all on a different screen that apparently wants to shrink everything over there, so I'm having to like rearrange everything. So it used to... Gosh, still can't read it. There we go. It used to create a death field at the target location, dealing internal damage, healing you for 1% of the maximum health for each target struck. Strikes up to 3 targets within an 8-meter radius. It now strikes 5 targets. Good. Okay, cool. This was changed, reduces the force cost of death field by 10 and 20. It previously was a 25% and a 50% modifier on that. that is no longer the case, which isn't too bad. Now, as far as the other talents go, this is the same, this is the same, this is the same. This is slightly different. It lowers the activation time of Whirlwind by 50 and 100%. In addition, when you activate Whirlwind, or when your Whirlwind breaks early, rather, that's what I meant to say. When your Whirlwind breaks early from damage, the target is stunned for 1 to 2 seconds, and now it is if your Whirlwind breaks early from damage, the target is stunned for 1 second. In addition, reduces the activation time of Whirlwind by 0.3 seconds. So just a little different there. Kind of weird, actually. Death Mark is different. It is now... they changed a number on it. Gosh, I really need to just expand this window. That way I can actually read all of those changes. Can I do it now? Oh my gosh, so much better. Let's love that. Okay, Death Field places a death mark on affected targets, increasing the amount of damage targets suffer from your next 10 periodic damaging abilities. I'm pretty sure it's 15 now. Yes, that is the new thing about it. The one to the right of it here appears to be a new talent. When your lightning charge deals damage, it has a 50% chance to apply lightning burns to the target, which deal energy damage after 1 second. It used to be consumes a death mark charge, which restores 1 and 2 force with the 2 points into it. Also, the talent right here is different. Shock has this is the old one, Shock has a 50 or 100% chance, depending on how many points were in it, to increase your melee bonus damage by 10% for 20 seconds. It is now increase the duration of Crushing Darkness by 1 second or 2 seconds. And this is the same, and these three appear to be new. I could be slightly wrong on that, as I was previously. So it increases damage dealt by Death Field and periodic effects by 7.5% on targets below 30% of max health. Last Rate now automatically triggers Lightning Charge on affected targets on separate rate limit, and reduces all damage taken while stunned by 15%. Wow, I think we're actually done. Did they change Creeping Terror? Yes, actually, in the patch notes, I remember saying that its damage had been slightly increased, its damage modifier, so you should see that DPS go up, not just because I'm wearing better gear and I'm level 55, which is an obvious change. But I think that is all of the changes as far as the talent trees go. I don't see anything else that was new. Wow, I'm still stealthed. Really, droid? Can I just, like, replace 2VR8 with HK? I'd rather have that. Look, HK's already over there waiting. He's like, he knows it's going to happen one day. So, with Phase Walk and the changes in the talent trees, everybody's saying that the Assassin feels a lot better, which is really good. I don't really have a whole lot of experience with it, so I can't really give you a point of reference. So, from what I've seen with our Assassin tank, he really likes the new stuff, especially being able to increase the healing from our healers if they're standing in his little circle. I've seen Assassin DPS talking about how they really like the changes, so overall it seems like a pretty good change to everything within each tree. That's always a good thing, you know, if you're not getting completely nerfed to the ground. Also, Assassins I think they were in a pretty bad place previously, so it's good to have all these new changes, and I'm sure they quite enjoy it. However, on that note, I need to go make more of these videos because the patch, or the PTS got updated today, and there's some more stuff to look at. So I'm going to go do a bit of that, and I shall see you guys next time.